Hey everybody, Beth Helvey, Michael Saunders and Company. I hope you're doing good today. Today is another warm and beautiful day. I think we're going to be like 82 or so. A little hot, humid because we're expecting some rain, and then it's going to cool off over the weekend. So if you saw my video yesterday, I had alluded to or mentioned a new MLS waiver that started, hi Fred, that came down the pike late 2019, but has now been tweaked a little bit and is in full use. Now, this is an MLS waiver for sellers only. And here's how it works. When you're listing with me or anybody else, chances are the date we sign the listing agreement is not the date that you are going to go live in MLS. Here's why. Because there's things to do. One of the things that you do when you bring me over, hi Carlos, is we are going to talk about staging, housekeeping, minor repairs. Hi, Ann. Major repairs. The best time to list based on your area, your neighborhood, what kind of property you have. So these are things that we take into consideration, typically speaking. And of course, I have to order photography. I do professional photography for every single listing. None of this happens until we have a signed listing agreement. This typically can take anywhere from a week to 2 weeks. What the new waiver says is when you take a listing, the date you sign the listing, unless you are putting the property into MLS within 24 hours, you must have this waiver. Now, the waiver has a bunch of boxes that you have to check, and here's the long and the short of it. What it says is that you, seller, understand that I, realtor, am not advertising your property. So it is not going to go into MLS until the date we decide, nor am I going to be advertising it. And this is where some of us are having concerns or issues. One of the things I do for my sellers is I do a lot of sneak peeks, coming soons, heads up, whatever, and stuff like that. And I try to create a bit of a fervor and a bit of a interest in the property prior to it going live. The idea with that is that when it finally does hit the market, there's interest in it, and then you get more people coming to see it or inquiring about it or what have you when it actually does go live. The first week in July is typically speaking when you're going to be the busiest, typically. Okay, there's always those oddball properties out there that have something else going on. I'm not allowed to do that anymore, nor is anybody else. So if I take your listing today and we're going to do some minor repairs, or maybe we're going to paint, and I have to order photography and all of that sort of thing, we can't actually pre-advertise it, pre-market it until 24 hours prior to it going live. Here's why. There have been, as there always is, some bad apples. And a few bad apples made it harder for the rest of us. What these bad apples did was they would do their coming soons and extend their coming soons, or use it as an opportunity as a listing agent to get both sides. So some sellers realized that when their realtor was doing this, what their realtor may or may not have been doing was selling the property for less than they could have because they were getting both sides. Now, those of y'all that know me know that unless in certain circumstances I will do this, but typically speaking, I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of doing both sides for a lot of reasons, and that's a whole other video. But there were people doing that, and sellers were feeling like they were getting cheated. And some of them felt like they were being cheated out of a significant amount of money so their listing agent could do something that they felt was unscrupulous. Now, some of the agents that did that probably got lucky. Well, maybe I shouldn't say lucky, but they probably knew somebody that was interested in the property, and they actually probably put the deal together themselves, and they weren't being unscrupulous. But I can guarantee you that some of those agents were. There's unscrupulous people in every industry. And what happened is there was enough complaints about this process that our MLS has done this. Now, let me warn you, for those of you all that aren't here, the MLSs around the country are doing this as well. This is about to be national. National Association of Realtors is going to put restrictions on coming soons. So what they have, at least in my MLS, what they have done as far as making it a little bit easier for us is I can do a couple other things. I can talk about my properties internally, and by internally, we're talking about our company. So I've got what, 700 agents in Michael Saunders and Company between 3 counties. It's a lot of agents. So I can, and we do, advertise internally. So I can say, I've got a 3-2 West of Trail coming up, this many square feet, this price point, we're gonna be live X day. Hey Sandra, well, thank you so much. And we're gonna be live. I can also put you on Caravan, which is something else that we do with Michael Saunders and Company. And it is not unusual for us, if we can, to put you on Caravan prior to actually going live for a lot of reasons. Perhaps the opportunity is there, and if the opportunity is there, I take it. Maybe we need a little bit of assistance with the price point. Maybe we need a little bit of assistance with staging. Maybe we're not quite sure of a paint color. Seller's willing to repaint, but we're going to get some opinions. You know, whatever, stuff like that. One of the nice things about Caravan is that when we're on Caravan and we're not bringing our buyers, and you get opinions from other realtors about this, you're going to get typically the blunt truth. And that's what we want. We want the blunt truth. So we're still allowed to do that. They were not going to, but that changed because when this first came down the pike in late 2019, it was even more strict than it is now. But there was some pushback, and we can do this now. So the other thing is too, that we weren't able to do that, we are able to do now, is I can also show it. So if I advertise, if I promote within my company that I have a property that's going to be going live next week, and it's this, this, and this, and then one of my agents, one of my fellow colleagues comes to me and says, Beth, I've got somebody who's perfect for it, I can let them in. Okay? This is completely different. Now, all the agents are going to tell you that there's a workaround, and the workaround is if you want to list with me today and not go live in 2 weeks, I can date your contract for 2 weeks from now. And I'm here to tell you I'm not going to do that. And the reason I'm not going to do that is because, technically speaking, from today to 2 weeks from now, I might be doing stuff for you, but I'm technically not working for you. And you are protected, and I am protected if we're under agreement. So, hi Hugh. So when I ask you to do that today, it's so I can go ahead and handle everything that I'm going to handle for you, from getting somebody in to do minor repairs, hiring a photographer, hiring a stager, hiring a declutterer, hiring somebody to come in and clean, maybe making arrangements to have your carpets or your tile cleaned. When you hire me today to do that, you and I are both protected in that 2-week time period should anything happen. So I'm protected knowing that I'm doing all this work for you, and I actually am going to get the listing because we're under contract. You're protected. What if the carpet cleaner comes in and something happens with the tile? We're under contract. We have that protection, and that's why you should do it. So it's a new thing. I'm not saying it's going to stay. I'm not saying it's a done deal. Oftentimes when something this different comes through, National Association of Realtors, and of course our local MLSs, there's always some tweaking and changing and things that may happen. If there's enough pushback, it could change, it could be altered, we could massage it a little bit and try to find something that's a little bit more middle ground. But the reason they're doing this is because, again, there were a few bad apples that were taking advantage of their sellers in a horrible way, and they did this to protect all the sellers. Whether you agree with the way they did it or not, you know, it is what it is. And once the National Association of Realtors says that everybody has to do it, we all have to do it. And that's the new working. So for you, as my seller, the reason that you should go with Michael Saunders and Company is because we're huge. How it works on the national level with some of our national companies, you know, your RE/MAXes, your co-op bankers, I honestly have no idea. So that's something that you can ask. So especially if you are someplace else in the country, and you're hiring a RE/MAX or a co-op banker agent or a Century 21 agent or whatever in another part of the country, and if any of you popping in are agents in those other parts of the country, and you know, I would love to hear what you have to say about that and how you're working it in your neck of the woods. So just to be aware of, the form is incredibly daunting, but it's really the form telling you as a seller that you realize that this is how this works. We're all about disclosure, 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 and that's it in a nutshell. So have a great day. Drink lots of water, wear your sunscreen. If you can get outside today, get outside today. Hi, Melissa. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous day here in paradise. And I will be back tomorrow with some more information. And if you have any questions about this waiver, throw it in the comments. I'm happy to answer them. Heck, I could probably even share some of the information with you. Or you can DM me. Whatever you want to do, I'm always available. And if you have any questions about real estate in general, throw it in the comments or DM me. I'm always available. This is Beth Helvey with Michael Saunders & Company, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye now.